Shalom friends, Derek here, and today we're going to talk about vowels and Hebrew vowels. But first we're going to introduce a little bit about how we read. We've talked already about how we read from right to left. Now another interesting or unique characteristic about Hebrew reading is you read not only from right to left, but top to bottom. The top is the consonants and the vowels come below, which we're talking about today. So here I'll show you. In our song, Sheheheyanu, here we have our first consonant is on the right side on the top, the vowel comes below. Then we come up to the next consonant, to the vowel below. We go up to the consonant, to the vowel below. Consonant, vowel, consonant, and once in a while there will be some exceptions to the top to bottom reading in Hebrew. But enough with the overall picture. Let's take a look at what the vowels are in Hebrew. So this morning, or today, what we're going to look at is two different types of vowels. There are short vowels and there are long vowels. First, I will go through briefly what the different short vowels are. I will show you what they are, their name, the sound, and a way that you can remember it. And this is a way that you can practice yourself. So, short vowels. First, we have kibbutz. Kibbutz is the 1, 2, 3 dots below the consonant. You'll notice that I always use the mem sofit consonant, and the vowel I will put underneath. So again, this is kibbutz. It makes the oo sound. Now, I remember kibbutz by it's got a dot going down, down, down. And it's a little bit silly, but if you remember elementary school, when you couldn't really say the word but or think of but, or you make an ooh sound. So here I've got 3 dots going to the but. And so I think kibbutz makes the ooh sound, like ooh, someone's butt. Next, we have the vowel segol. Segol makes the A sound, like gray. Now, how I remember segol, I don't know if you have seen the movie Black Panther, but in the movie Black Panther, maybe you've seen that on people's faces or on their bodies, they have different dots for decorations or for markings. And that helps me remember that this one is segol. There's a country in Africa named Senegal. So these 3 dots remind me of Africa, and so I think segol makes the A sound, like gray. Next we have patach. Patach makes the ah sound, like father. I remember patach because in Spanish, the word for father is padre. And patach is kind of a long line, and sometimes fathers can have a long, drawn out voice. So I think father makes the ah sound like patach. Our next short vowel is hirik. It makes the E sound. Now notice it's just a little dot at the bottom. And I remember hirik by if you poke someone or poke me, and it kind of feels like it stings. So you might want to make like an E sound. So whenever I see that little dot, I think E for hirik. Last but not least, and it's a little bit more complicated, is the Kametz Hatuf. Now, There's another vowel that looks exactly the same that is called comets. It's a long vowel, and that vowel shows up more often. But it's important that we learn the comet satuf. Comet satuf is a short vowel. It makes the O sound like whole. And I remember comet satuf because you think of a comet in the sky and you think, oh, what a sight. These are our short vowels. Next, we have 5 more vowels to introduce to you, the long vowels. The first vowel is holum. It makes the long O sound, O, like whole. I remember holum because it's like there's a hole at the top of the letter. Holum makes the O sound. Just a minute ago, we talked about comets. Hatuf makes the O sound like a comet goes O through the sky. Well, this is comets. It makes the long ah sound like father. And this one I remember because it makes the sound ah, and when you see a comet in the sky, you can think ah. Sometimes it makes the O sound like oh, but this time it makes the ah sound. Our next vowel is hirik yod. Hirik vav. It makes the oo sound like lute. I remember this one because it looks a little bit like a flute. So shirik vav makes the oo sound like flute. Next, we have hirik yod. Hirik yod makes the E sound like machine. I remember this one because it's got the little dot like the hirik and a yod, and I think of Yoda. And Yoda is like a soft, seems like a gentle person, and the E sound seems kind of strong. So I think the E takes over the yod. So it makes the E sound when they come together. And last but not least, we have the sere, which makes the A sound like gray. I connect this one with Segol. If you remember Segol, that was like Black Panther when they have dots on their body to represent something in their culture or something that is sacred to them. Well, this is like the cousin of Segol. It makes the same sound, only it's one less dot. Sere makes the A sound like gray, and it's related to Segol. These are the long vowels. So we've gone over the short vowels and the long vowels. There's a couple more things to show you briefly. Composite vowels are long vowels, and we will just briefly go over these. They have a vowel with a consonant, and they make one vowel sound. And I will just introduce them to you. So first, we have segol, hey. Segol and the hey come together. They make the A sound. Like I said, when we looked at the beginning, when I said sometimes there are some exceptions to the top to bottom reading, these are some of the exceptions. Segol, hey makes the A sound. Next, we have segol yod makes the A sound like gray. We have sere hey makes the A sound like gray. We have sere yod makes the A sound like gray. Comet hey makes the A sound like father. Holem vav makes the O sound like whole. And last but not least, we have Holam Hay, makes the O sound like hole. These are composite vowels, and composite vowels are simply a vowel that comes with a consonant that makes a long sound. Last but not least, I'll introduce the shava briefly. The shava is two dots, and the two dots, a simple shava, can either be a pause or with no sound, or a short E sound, eh. And you'll see that as we get into reading. Or there's a composite shava, a shatef patach, makes a short A sound. Shatef segol makes a short E sound. We have the segol, 1, 2, 3, and the shava. And lastly, shatef kametz, which makes the short O sound. If you remember kametz atuf, O in the sky, it's the kametz and shava short O sound. So thank you so much for visiting with me, and I look forward to talking more about vowels with you.